Well, we welcome everybody to St. George, Utah and Desert Hills High School for Game 4 of the Landmark Insurance Invitational down here in St. George. It's the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles and the Pleasant Grove Vikings as we get set ready to go for what should be a very exciting contest. The two previous games earlier here today, one between Spanish Fork and Juan Diego, that ended in 5 by the 10-run rule, 10-0. And then Pleasant Grove played Payson, and the Vikings 10-run the Payson Lions 11-1 in 5. So we have yet to have a game go really past those 5 innings throughout the day. I'm sorry, I correct myself. The Spanish Fork game went 6 innings, but we'll get ready to set here today. Maple Mountain will be the home team in this contest. Pleasant Grove will be the visitors, so the Vikings from Pleasant Grove will bat first. Today, the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles will throw the right-hander Tyson Ellis. Will make this step to the mound for the Golden Eagles. Ellis has been in a lot of late game situations for this Maple Mountain team, has pitched in a lot of big games, and going up against a 5A competition today in Pleasant Grove will be no easy task for the right-hander. Let's go ahead and give you the starting lineup for the visiting Pleasant Grove Vikings. Leading off will be the second baseman, number 3, Connor Johnson. Third baseman Ty Lewis hits in the 2 spot. Brock Watkins, the shortstop, hits third. Logan Hooley, the right fielder, hits cleanup, followed by the first baseman, number 32, Kayane Pula, the first baseman. Jackson Brown, the catcher, hits 6th. Ethan Coombs in center field hits 7th. Staley Hansen, the designated hitter, will hit 8th. And then Jake Fryer, who is in left field, will round out the order and bat 9th. It will be Jake Jensen on the mound for the Vikings of Pleasant Grove. Let's go ahead and give you the defense here. We'll give you the defense here for Maple Mountain. In the outfield, Colin Reed is going to be in left field. It will be Dawson Hall in center. And then in right field, we have Carter Shaw. On the infield, Mikey Peterson at third. Jake Roberts will be at short. Tito Dennison will be at second, with Caleb Peterson at first, and then Jarrett McAllister behind the plate. And we're set ready to go for baseball. The first pitch, a fastball away to Connor Johnson. Underway just a couple of minutes, about 10 minutes or so past scheduled first pitch, but we're set and ready to go. Connor Johnson hitting leadoff for the Vikings of Pleasant Grove. That one there, they're going to say Johnson did go around, couldn't quite hold up. The count will even up at 1-1. The Vikings of Pleasant Grove 1-0 in Pool B. A win here would clinch the Pool B number 1 spot for the Vikings. That one's in there for a called strike, and it's 1-2 the count quickly here on Connor Johnson, which means the Vikings would have an opportunity in the semifinals that it would really come down to the winner of Maple Mountain Payson to follow as to who would fill that other spot. And Johnson there swung on and missed strike 30, so the first strikeout of the game for Tyson Ellis, and there's one away, and here comes Ty Lewis. Lewis will start at third base for the Vikings. He got the start in Game 1 on the hill, had a kind of an interesting submarine sidearm delivery, but really kept the Payson bats quiet. The Vikings used a 5-run first inning, and Lewis there fouls that one straight back, and it's no balls and a strike on Ty Lewis. Tyson Ellis, the right-hander, will work here from the windup, and the 0-1 on its way. That one's right there on the outside corner, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Ty Lewis. Maple Mountain in the 0-2 pitch. That fastball misses away 1-2. Maple Mountain wearing the gray with the maroon kind of pinstripes, maroon tops that say Eagles across the chest. Pleasant Grove in the home white uniforms. And Lewis there rolls this one to first, fielded by Caleb Peterson. Underhands to Ellis, who's covering the bag. And there's 2 away here for Brock Watkins. So Watkins will stand in from the right side. This Pleasant Grove team scored early and often against Payson in the 11 a.m. game. That one swung on and fouled back. They got the bats going quick. Didn't get a lot of easy They earned the runs. They just hit the ball there for a while all over the yard. A very good offensive team in Pleasant Grove. Pitch to Watkins there. That one right on the outside corner. It's quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Brock Watkins. The infield for Maple Mountain will all play back, and the 0-2 pitch right on the outside corner. That one misses away, and it's 1-2 on Watkins. Here's the 1-2 on its way. That one swung on, popped up, and that one will go foul back over onto the softball field that sits adjacent behind us. Maple Mountain will play Payson following this one, scheduled for a 4:30 first pitch. Here's the 1-2 on its way. That one's checked his swing. Did he hold up? And one will even the count up at 2-2. The Vikings of Pleasant Grove and those white tops, you can kind of see it there. It has the PL and then Grove. That one's inside and just missed ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes to count here on Brock Watkins. Logan Hooley would come up for the Vikings if the inning should continue. The 3-2 pitch on its way is going to be lifted into right field, coming in, and it's going to fall for a base hit, as it was Carter Shaw who came in and will retrieve it. So here's the right fielder, Logan Hooley. So the Vikings have their first base runner of the ball game on the single by Brock Watkins. And again, not a hard hit ball, but just one that found the right spot in the outfield. And here's Logan Hooley, the right fielder. Hooley wears number 22, will stand in. Ellis comes in, first pitch. Hooley swings and fouls this one straight back to the screen. No balls and a strike. The options really for Maple Mountain would be to win both and be the number 1 seed out of Pool B and play in the semifinal. Swung out and missed, strike 2, and it's now quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Logan Hooley. No score, top of the first inning. Ellis from the stretch, and the pitch, fastball misses high. Maple Mountain wins both. They will be the number 1 seed out of Pool B, and they will play in a semifinal. If they finish in the number 2 spot, they'll play tomorrow morning in an 11 a.m. game here on Spanish Fork 17, where they'll get crosstown rival Spanish Fork in a semifinal. Of course, they could lose both as well, and they would play bright and early at 8:45 a.m. Ellis ready to go. Comes set, the 1-2 pitch. Called, strike 3 right on the outside corner. Just froze Logan Hooley. The second strikeout for Tyson Ellis. And the top of the first inning comes to an end. Brock Watkins gets a base hit for the Vikings, but gets stranded at first. We've played a half inning. No score. The Golden Eagles coming up. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors who help make these broadcasts possible. We want to thank the car guys, Dickerson Automotive, Lance Wilson State Farm, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, MVP Sports, and Two Jacks Pizza. We also want to remind you to follow our pages on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, as you can stay up to date on live broadcasts, current shows and programming, and our SF17 staff. So just look for Spanish Fork 17. So Maple Mountain will come up here in the bottom of the first inning. Let's give you their lineup. Leading off will be the shortstop, Jake Roberts. Tito Dennison, the second baseman, hits second. Dawson Hall will hit in the 3 spot. Tyson Ellis is pitching, and he'll hit cleanup. Mikey Peterson hits 5th. Caleb Peterson will hit in the 6th spot. Colin Reed 7th. Carter Shaw 8th. Justin Hartman will hit 9th and will be the DH. And then catching and not hitting in the lineup is going to be Jarrett McAllister. On the mound for Pleasant Grove will be the right-hander Jake Jensen, going to work wearing number 6. We'll see plenty of him throughout the day. Let's give you the defense behind Jake Jensen tonight, or this afternoon. It's going to be Jake Fryer in left. In center field, it's going to be Ethan Coombs, Logan Hooley in right. On the infield, Ty Lewis will be at third base. The shortstop will be Brock Watkins. Connor Johnson at second. Over at first is Keani Pula. And catching will be Jackson Brown. And now here's Jake Roberts to stand in and lead it off for Maple Mountain. Ready to go here for the bottom of the first inning. No score. And the first pitch is in there for a called strike to Jake Roberts. Jensen ready to go. The wind and the delivery on its way. Breaking ball that just misses, and the count evens up. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch on its way. Breaking ball comes inside and misses for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Earlier in the day, we've had nothing but just blue sky and sun. Now we're starting to see some high clouds start to move in. The 2-1 pitch, bunt shown, pulled back, and it's called strike. And it'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes. We had thought originally, earlier in the week, the weather was supposed to kind of turn on us for tomorrow. But it's now not looking quite too bad, partly sunny. It was about 66 degrees or so at game time here in St. George. 2 balls and 2 strikes, nobody out, bottom of the first inning. Jake Roberts at the plate for Maple Mountain. He's standing in there and battling here early on against Jake Jensen. The pitch on its way up the middle. Watkins is there. Fields it cleanly, throws to first in time, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the first inning. So with 1 gone, here's Tito Dennison. So Dennison will stand in here from the right side. Ready to go, and the first pitch on its way, breaking ball. Bounces in the dirt, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count on Dennison. Jake Jensen, the right-hander, ready to go. Winds and delivers the 1-0 pitch, and that one's going to be bounced up the middle. Going to be a tough play. Diving and making the catch is Johnson, but he won't have a throw. And Tito Dennison's aboard here with a leadoff single, as that was one of those plays where it's a great effort by Connor Johnson to get up the hole and to backhand it, but he just didn't have enough time to throw out Dennison, and now brings up Dawson Hall. Hall wearing number 3 this year for Maple Mountain. Stands in here from the left side. First pitch to Hall, right in on the inside corner, just below the knees, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. We'll keep you up to date as we go through the rest of the day about the schedule for tomorrow as to who will play when and where. Some of it will be probably to be determined. That one right on the inside corner for a called strike, and it evens the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. We do know, however, though, that Spanish Fork, they have clinched their spot in the 11 a.m. Semifinal. Ready to go. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one blocked in the dirt. It's 2 balls and a strike. The count here on Dawson Hall. So Hall here would have a shot. If outfield, if you're just joining us, it's 350 to dead center field, which is a little more shallow than a lot of ballparks. Even at the high school level, generally it's closer out to 400. Running is Tito Dennison. He'll steal the base easily. He'll steal it standing, as Jackson Brown didn't have, I don't know if he just didn't have a throw or if he didn't really realize that Dennison was running there, but an easy stolen base there for Tito Dennison, and now Dennison is in scoring position here for Dawson Hall. Jake Jensen working from the stretch, and the 3-1 pitch on its way bounces in the dirt, and Dennison's going to try to break for third. The throw is to the left side of the bag, and Dennison's able to move up again. So Maple Mountain using some speed at the top of their lineup to maybe cause some havoc here on the Pleasant Grove Vikings, and right there. Tito Dennison runs immediately. That's the key to that play there. If Dennison hesitates at all, it allows Jackson Brown to have a little more time to make a good throw. But in that case, right there, Dennison running immediately put a lot more pressure on Brown to make a good throw, and the throw just came to the left side of the bag. So runners on the corners here with one gone. And now Tyson Ellis a chance to help his own cause here in the first and see if he can't come through and knock in the game's first run and try to give himself some run support. Breaking ball just misses maybe a little bit low and outside. Ball one ball and no strikes. The Payson Lions have returned to the ballpark here. They'll get ready to play at 4:30. The 1-0 pitch, and Ellis swings, hits this one well out to left center field, up over the head of Fryer all the way to the wall. So one run is in, that's Dennison, and Hall will stop at third, and we'll have an RBI double. Maple Mountain's on the board. So Tyson Dennison helping his own cause, and now we'll get a runner out there. Orlando Corona will come in to run for the pitcher. So here's Mikey Peterson now. So now runners on second and third for the Maple Mountain, a chance to kind of maybe open this one up early. This is similar to what Pleasant Grove did to Payson earlier. Breaking ball misses away, and it's 1 ball and no strikes on Mikey Peterson. Jensen back to the windup here with runners on at second and third. And that one in there for a called strike. That one a little more in the strike zone, a little more elevated. Count evens up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. Pleasant Grove will play back. They'll probably trade the out for the run here in the first. Jensen kicks and delivers. And that one swung out and missed. Peterson swings through it. And it's 1-2 the count on Mikey Peterson. Outfield pretty much straight away for Pleasant Grove. The 1-2 pitch. And Peterson swings, hits this one well. Right to center, though. Coombs will get back. He'll make the catch. Dawson Hall will tag, and he will come in to score. It's 2-0 Maple Mountain. So a nice job right there of just understanding your job. If you're Mikey Peterson, you just have to do something to get the run home. In that case, lift a deep enough fly ball to allow Dawson Hall to score and get the game's second run. Golden Eagles take a quick 2-0 lead here. Here's Caleb Peterson, the first baseman. Standing in here, Jensen ready to go. And the pitch on its way, misses. Ball 1 ball and no strikes. If Maple Mountain can get past this very good Pleasant Grove team, you have to like their chances against Payson, a team that they know a lot about. And with how deep the pitching staff is for Maple Mountain, they're going to have an opportunity, I think, to make a pretty good run at the state tournament. As that one swung out and missed, the count evens up at 1-1. It should be interesting to watch how Region 8 plays out this year. Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork will, of course, open up Region 8 play against each other. So I don't know necessarily if you're Maple Mountain, if you want to see the Dons an additional time before. That one on the outside corner for a called strike. It's 1-2. They'll play Tuesday over at Nelson Field in Spanish Fork, and then they'll play Thursday at Maple Mountain. That game on Thursday will be shown here live on SFCN. 1-2 on its way. Breaking ball right on the outside corner and missed. Ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jensen's just kind of baiting with that edge there, hoping to try to see that the home plate umpire might ring him up. And so far, that outside corner seems to be given to the hitter. Here's the 2-2 pitch on its way home. In the dirt, it's fouled away. And Caleb Peterson will just make enough contact there. And head coach Gary Minor is coming out to say that they heard that the bat hit the catcher's glove. If that's catcher's interference, then Peterson reaches. So the two umpires will go out and have a conversation about it and see. And it looks like the decision the umpires are going to make is that no, he didn't. Generally, it's something too you can hear, because generally you can hear the momentum of the bat hit that glove. It makes a different sound, obviously, than the ball hitting the catcher's glove. Two-two pitch. Peterson fouls this one back over onto the softball field. Sits adjacent. You can kind of see it here in the back. There's the softball field, and right along there, right past the dugout, a walkway that goes down more towards the actual high school itself. Ready to go. Here's the 2-2 pitch on its way outside, ball 3, and the count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So with the 3-2 count and with 2 outs, generally you would see the runner at second base take off. However, in this case, with no runner on at first, he wouldn't want to take off unless he's sure he can make it to third. Here's the 3-2 pitch on its way. Peterson grounds this one to short. Watkins up with it. He'll throw across the diamond in time, and the inning is over. However, the damage is done. Maple Mountain gets 2. One of the big hit. Tyson Ellis, an RBI double. We've played 1. It's Maple Mountain 2 and Pleasant Grove 0. You're watching high school baseball in Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Top of the second inning here at Desert Hills High School in the Landmark Insurance Invitational. As pool play underway, it got started last night with Spanish Fork and Desert Hills, and it will conclude tomorrow with the 8 p.m. championship game for whichever 2 teams will make it to that ball game. Right now, we're trying to see who will have a shot even to play in the semifinals. And the first pitch misses low of the second inning. Tyson Ellis out to begin his second inning of work as Pula stands in the batter's box here. The 1-0 pitch is going to be hit hard to right to second, bobbled by Dennison. He relays, turns, and throws to first, and it's in time to get Pula, who did the head-first dive into the first base bag, looking to try to see if he couldn't get the call. A great heads-up play by Dennison to quickly realize, pick up the baseball, and throw to first, and he put it on the money throw to Caleb Peterson, 1 away, and that's going to bring up Jackson Brown, the catcher. Brown takes a big cut and came up empty. No balls and a strike here on Tyson Ellis. The breeze is picked up as we've gone throughout the afternoon. And the 0-1 pitch on its way bounces in the dirt for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The ball also has had a little more carry, it seems, especially to center field as the day's gone on. The wind, though, starting to pick up, kind of blowing in a little bit here. That pitch misses low for a ball, and it's 2 balls and a strike. It could end up having the ball not carry quite as well. The 3-0 pitch on its way to Brown, and that one in there for a called strike. Brown was taken all the way. Don't think he was a huge fan of the call as he kind of gave a look to the home plate umpire after it. 3 balls and a strike. The line and the delivery on its way. Brown swings, pops it up, and the count will go full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, it appears to be the count. And Brown swings, hits this one, pops it up. into right field, coming in, sliding, and couldn't make the catch is Carter Shaw. Shaw will run back and get that. Jackson Brown will be into second base with a stand-up double. Carter Shaw made a great attempt at it. And just, I don't think he just, it's not that so much that he didn't get there to make the play. He just, it looks like, not that he dropped the ball is what I meant to say. It just didn't look like he just didn't quite get there before the ball would fall. Running is going to be Easton Casper, who came in quite a bit to run in the first ball game. Casper will run here for Jackson Brown, the runner on at second base. So one gone. Here's center fielder Ethan Coombs. Pleasant Grove trying to get a run back here in the top of the second inning. Working from the stretch now will be Tyson Ellis. Now it's going to be bounced to second base, fielded by Dennison. His throw to first in time for the second out of the inning. That will move, however, Casper down to third. But now it will force the designated hitter Staley Hansen to have to come through with a base hit. So Hansen will stand in from the right side. Pleasant Grove got off to such a quick start in that game against Payson, and that one's fouled away. Hagan Thomas got the start in that ball game for the Lions and just had a rough first inning. It's not that he was, missed control. He just left some pitches up, and Pleasant Grove hit him well. But as the game went on, Thomas and the Payson Lions pitching staff kind of settled down a little bit, put up some zeros. They just weren't able to swing the bats overly well in that one. But we'll see Payson coming up in just about a couple hours against these Maple Mountain Golden Eagles. No balls and 2 strikes, the count here on Staley Hansen. Here's the 0-2. Fastball misses high. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The count here on Hansen. Ethan Casper running over at third base gets his lead. Tyson Ellis comes home. How it swung out and missed. Strike 3, and this side is retired. So the double by Jackson Brown doesn't come back to hurt Maple Mountain. Tyson Ellis has his 3rd strikeout of the ball game. And Maple Mountain has a 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors. We want to thank 2 Jacks Pizza, Mikkel Chris Jansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, Lance Wilson State Farm, Dickerson Automotive, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and our good friends the Car Guys. We thank everybody for making this broadcast and our many others possible throughout the high school sports season. And to stay tuned on future broadcasts, we suggest that you follow us on our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. YouTube, you can, of course, catch live broadcasts and replays. And we'll give you a good opportunity to know, especially during baseball season and softball, when Mother Nature kind of takes over and all of a sudden starts dropping the rain, and we have rainouts or cancellations. You have to move games around. Good place to find out is out through our social media pages. So bottom of the second inning for Maple Mountain, it's going to be Colin Reed, Carter Shaw, Justin Hartman coming up here, and Colin Reed will make his way to the batter's box here. So right now we have a little bit of a delay. It looks like there's a helmet and a glove kind of down the baseline there. It looks like kind of down by the bullpen area. Ready to play baseball. Here's Colin Reed. Misses for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Maple Mountain will look, last year made it to the state tournament. Had a very nice, impressive win on the road against region champion from Region 6 Woods Cross. Sorry, Region 5 Woods Cross. On the road, in extra innings, to put the Wildcats in the 1-loss bracket. That one in there for 2 balls and a strike now on Colin Reed. But then have that game against Salem Hills where the Skyhawks just hit the ball, I think, everywhere they could inside Brent Brown Ballpark, and had a couple of big innings against the Golden Eagles, and that was the end of the year for the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles. So they'll try to make a good run this year. That one in the dirt, ball 3, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes here on Colin Reed. And of course tonight we'll see Maple Mountain back-to-back games as they're playing their 2 pool play games back-to-back, and Reed there fouls that one away. Maple Mountain will play 4:30 against the Payson Lions, so kind of a preview, so to speak, of a Region 8 matchup where they'll see Payson 2 more times during the upcoming season. Once, of course, at Payson, once at Maple Mountain. And Reed hits this one down the left field line and foul. And I don't think it went foul very much. I think that was Coach Spainhauer down the third baseline that was kind of like, oh man, it just went foul. You could see it hooking when it went off the bat. And over here on the first baseline, it's kind of, you can't necessarily see the line all the way down, so it kind of gets hard to tell whether it was fair or foul. 3-2 pitch. Reed swings and pops this one up. This time over towards first. Pula is there, and he'll make the catch for the first out of the inning. So a pretty good at-bat if you're Colin Reed there. He had an opportunity to see a lot of pitches and make the starter Jake Jensen throw some pitches and work. 1 gone. Here's Carter Shaw. First pitch to Shaw. He swings, hits this one out into right center field. Coombs coming over. He'll make the catch. And there's quickly 2 away here in the second inning. So a pop out and a fly out, and now brings up the designated hitter, Justin Hartman. Hartman hitting in the 9th spot. Looking to try to see here if he can get something going here with 2 outs in the inning. Swings and hits this one to right. Making a kind of a sliding catch out there is Hooley, and the inning is over. Maple Mountain goes down in order 1, 2, 3. We've played 2 from St. George, Utah. Maple Mountain 2, Pleasant Grove 0. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Top of the third inning here at Desert Hills High School as Maple Mountain will make a pitching change here. They're going to bring in Blake Davis, who will throw now for the Golden Eagles. Tyson Ellis will stay in the game over at first base. So kind of a couple of interesting changes here early on. Really, Tyson Ellis was in a groove here, and so I'm not sure if this is a move to save some arms in case you make it to the semifinals tomorrow, or necessarily what the logic is here, but nonetheless, we will see Tyson Ellis will be over at first. Blake Davis the right-hander, will come in. So Tyson Ellis goes 2 innings today for Maple Mountain. And now Blake Davis will go to work. Don't see any other changes, so I'm thinking they removed Caleb Peterson out of the ballgame, because they can't really insert the DH. A couple of other changes, though, noticing. Tyler Boyack, number 11, has come in over at third base from Mikey Peterson. So Boyack come in here and just looking around the rest of the infield. No other big changes here for Maple Mountain, I don't believe. I don't see any other changes. So Pleasant Grove will send up 9, 1, and 2 Jake Fryer, Connor Johnson, and Ty Lewis here in the top of the third inning, looking to try to get something going here for, and Jarrett McAllister is no longer catching. It looks like Mikey Peterson has gone behind the plate where he will catch. So here's Jake Fryer, the left fielder. Fryer stands in to lead it off here for Pleasant Grove. And the first pitch from Blake Davis misses for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Davis winds and delivers. That one fouled back. And the count evens up, 1 ball and 1 strike. Here, top of the third inning, 2-0 lead for Maple Mountain. The Golden Eagles are the home team in this ball game. And then we'll have to see who's going to be the home team between them and Payson. The 1-1 pitch on its way, swung on and missed. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes to count here on Jake Fryer. Davis takes a look in here to Peterson behind the plate. The time call, it looks like, by the hitter, right as Blake Davis is about to come home. The 1-2 pitch on its way. That one misses away, ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count now. Ready to go. Here's the 2-2 pitch on its way. Right on the corner. Blake Davis kind of nibbling there to try to see if he can get the strike call. In this case, again, that outside pitch seems to be going to the hitter. And it count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pitch on its way is swung on and fouled back. We'll have another 3-2 pitch coming. Here's the 3-2 pitch on its way home. Swung on, foul back. And we'll have another 3-2 pitch. So Jake Fryer really making Blake Davis work here in the first, making him throw some pitches. Here's the 3-2 pitch on its way. That one's going to be popped up. Dawson Hall will take a few steps in from center field. He'll reach up and make the catch. And there's 1 out. So Blake Davis does a nice job getting that first out. And with 1 out, back to the top of the lineup, here's Connor Johnson. Johnson 0 for 1, went down on strikes back in the first against Tyson Ellis. Had a pretty good at-bat, and then I think Tyson Ellis blew a fastball past him. There's a called strikeout on the outside corner. It's quickly no balls and a strike here on Connor Johnson. Johnson having a pretty good game in day 1. In game 1 for Pleasant Grove, really did a nice job in that leadoff spot. That one in there for a called strike, and it's 0-2. Didn't really get a lot of the stuff started, however, in the 5-run first inning. But Connor Johnson came up twice in that inning. That one misses away for a ball, 1-2. So they batted around here. They batted around in that first inning against Payson this morning. The 1-2 pitch right on the outside corner, ball 2, and the count evens up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tyler Boyack playing a few steps, maybe a step or 2 back on the third base. And that one's going to be smoked right up the middle, past the diving shortstop into left center field. And Connor Johnson has his first hit of the ball game, a hard base hit back through the middle. And here's third baseman Ty Lewis. Lewis grounded out to the first baseman at the time was Caleb Peterson. So Lewis will stand in from the left side, 0 for 1 with a ground out. And with 1 out here in the inning, Lewis wouldn't mind a double play ball. Fastball misses away, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Davis ready to go here. And the 1-0 pitch misses away, ball 2. And it's quickly 2 balls and no strikes here on Ty Lewis. The Maple Mountain Payson game will be the final game of Pool B play. The final game of Pool A won't take place until 7 tonight. The pickoff move and diving back safely is Connor Johnson. And that will be Desert Hills, the host team, taking on Juan Diego. The 1-1 pitch fouled straight back. The winner of that one will clinch a semifinal spot. The loser of that one will finish in the 3rd spot here in pool play, and they will end up playing bright and early at 8:45 tomorrow morning. And that's a quick turnaround for sure. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch on its way is going to be lined into center field for a base hit. Connor Johnson will hold at second. And now a couple of runners on for Pleasant Grove, and Blake Davis has surrendered back-to-back hits. And now you got to deal with the middle part of the Pleasant Grove lineup and Brock Watkins. Watkins 1 for 1, including a base hit in his first at-bat. It wasn't an overly hard-hit baseball, just one that happened to find the right spot on the field, and they're able to get it to fall for a base hit. Davis from the stretch, ready to go. First pitch misses high for a ball, 1-0. Running on at second base, Connor Johnson. Over at first is Ty Lewis. 1 gone here, top of the 3rd inning. It's a 2-0 lead for Maple Mountain. 1-0 pitch on its way, fouled straight back, and the count evens up at 1-1. Maple Mountain is the home team in this ball game. Here's the 1-1 on the way in the dirt. A good stop by Mikey Peterson behind the plate, and it's 2 ball. It's now 3-1. The count. And I think it's only 2-1 is what the umpire's showing here up. Here's the pitch on its way. That's in there for a called strike. Evens the count up, 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Blake Davis working from the stretch. Ready to go. Davis comes set, checks the runner, comes home, and Watkins fouls that one away. We'll do it again. That wind picking up here this afternoon. The sun having some more high clouds begin to move in here throughout St. George. Two balls and 2 strikes the count here on Watkins. Watkins looking to try to see if they can get home the first run of the game for Pleasant Grove. And Watkins again fouls this next one away. So we'll have to do another 2-2 pitch. Runners on at first and second, 1 away. Blake Davis looking to try to see if he can maybe get a ground ball right at somebody, try to get a double play. The pitch on its way, misses outside, and the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Now the count going to be here on Watkins. Here's Davis from the stretch, the 3-2 pitch, fouled back again, and we will do it all over again. 3 balls and 2 strikes here on Watkins. Logan Hooley in the on-deck circle if the inning should continue. So right now they'll have runners on at first and second. As right now you'll see Mikey Peterson go out onto the to the mound and have a quick conversation here with his right-hander Blake Davis, who's on in relief of Tyson Ellis. Tyson went 2 innings today for Maple Mountain. Pitched the first and the second. It was actually in a pretty good groove. So we'll see if maybe the decision behind that was to hold him out for potentially later on in this tournament over the weekend. We'll have to see. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count here on Watkins. Davis ready to come. Swung out and missed. Strike 3. Blake Davis gets the big strikeout of Brock Watkins. The first strikeout for Davis, and with 1 gone, here's Logan Hooley. Hooley went down on strikes back in the first inning. And now here he'll look to see if he can't find a way to there's a first pitch, misses away for a ball, 1-0. Hooley will try and avoid the strikeout here, but the worst thing would be an inning double play. Top of the 3rd inning, 2-0 Maple Mountain. Davis comes in, and that one right down the middle, called strike just below the belt. And Blake Davis starting to settle in quite nicely here. Hooley will take a look down into the third base coach's box where Pleasant Grove head coach Darren Henry sits. Stands right now, coaching third base. The pitch on its way, blocked in the dirt. A good stop by Mikey Peterson, and it's going to be 2-1. Outfield for Maple Mountain, all playing pretty straight away. Dawson Hall in center, maybe playing a step or two to left center field. Pitch swung on, fouled straight back, and we'll do it again. Not a big ballpark if you're just joining us here today. 325 to left. It's 350 to center and 335 down the right field line. So not an overly big ballpark. Maybe deeper down the lines than most, but to straight center a lot shorter. That one misses away. It's 2-2 the count. There is, however, in dead center field, you'll probably see it throughout the ball game, a pretty tall wall that it would take quite a bit to hit a home run to dead center field. Davis ready to go. Working from the stretch, time called, and Logan Hooley will step out of the batter's box. Davis ready to go. The runners take off. The pitch, Hooley swings, pops it up on the infield. Tyler Boyack backpedaling. It's going to be the shortstop, however, who makes the catch, Jake Roberts. And a big outs there by Blake Davis to find a way to get out of the jam. The 2 singles by Johnson and Lewis do not come back to hurt Maple Mountain, and they retain their 2-0 lead. Pleasant Grove's been able to find a way to get base runners, but they've left all 4 on the base paths so far. A good sign if you're the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles. Let's take a moment here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors. We want to thank the Car Guys, Dickerson Automotive, Lance Wilson State Farm, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, MVP Sports, and 2 Jacks Pizza. We thank them for making this broadcast this afternoon possible. We also want to remind you to follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with our latest shows, live events, and also our SF17 staff. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. So Maple Mountain having a little meeting in between innings here to try to see what they can come up with here in the bottom of the third inning. As right now they have a 2-0 lead. Top of the lineup, Jake Roberts, Tito Dennison, Dawson Hall coming up. As Maple Mountain looks to try to extend this lead and get a little bit of run support, as the pitcher on the mound is Jensen, who continues to throw down, or will continue to come out to start the inning. So it's going to be Jake Jensen, the right-hander, to start his third inning of work, and the second time through the Maple Mountain lineup. And so we'll see what adjustments maybe Maple Mountain has made. We've seen a couple times throughout the tournament with Spanish Fork pitchers that second time through that the other team has made some adjustments and has had some early success. The first pitch in there for a called strike to Jake Roberts, and it's 0-1. Roberts 0 for 1 this afternoon, grounded out to short in his only plate appearance so far. The 0-1 pitch just above the knees for a called strike, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes on Jake Roberts. Here's the 0-2 pitch on its way, misses low and away for a ball, and it's going to be 1-2 the count here on Jake Roberts. Pitch coming home, Roberts, that one bounces in the dirt for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pleasant Grove in Pool B, 1-0. Maple Mountain, 0-0. This is their first game of Pool B. Payson, 0-1. The only team to clinch a semifinal spot right now is Spanish Fork. That pitch misses high and will even the count up at 2-2. Sorry, it makes the count go full 3-2. Jensen kicks and comes home, 3-2 pitch. Roberts swings, hits this one out to deep right center field. And that one is going to be ran down and caught by Logan Hooley, and there's one away. So here's Tito Dennison, the second baseman. Singled and came around to score the game's first run for the Golden Eagles back in the first inning. Jensen comes in. There's that slow curveball that comes across for a called strike. And it's quickly going to be 0-2. That one's going to be hit well by Dennison off into right center field. That's going to find some grass. And there's a single right there for Tito Dennison. So a hard hit single with 1 out. Dennison has his second hit. And now that's going to bring up the center fielder, Dawson Hall. Filling out my scorebook for the first time this year, I had just written down number 3 with the last name of Hall, and quickly said I better put a D in front, so I didn't call him Jaron Hall, so just out of habit. Dawson Hall wearing number 3 this year. That one skips to the backstop, and Dennison will move up there. Time called just to allow Dennison the extra base. I think the ball got out of play. Dawson Hall walked and then came around to score in his first and only at bat here of the afternoon. 1 gone, bottom of the third inning. 2-0 Maple Mountain. Golden Eagles trying to add to that here, and the pitch on its way. Low and inside for a ball, and the count moves to 2-0. Jake Jensen hasn't really been out of the strike zone a ton tonight, or this afternoon, but out of the strike zone enough. That one right there for a called strike, and it's 2-1. Walk Dawson Hall. It's his only walk of the ball game. Has only allowed the 2 runs. Has really pitched pretty well for Pleasant Grove. Just, you got to credit Maple Mountain. They've found a way to get runners on base, and they've came through with the clutch hits when they've needed it. Here's the pitch on way, breaking ball right on the inside corner for ball 3, and now it's a 3-1 count on Dawson Hall, and you have to think right now that Dawson Hall is going to see something good to hit right here. It's a fastball count. From the stretch, Jensen ready to go. And the 3-1 pitch on its way, rolled foul over toward the Maple Mountain dugout. and count will go full 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's no railing. There's a railing in the dugout, but there's no protective like netting or anything around the dugout. So last night we had a ball. It was one hopped right into the Desert Hills dugout and sent 3 or 4 players scrambling quickly to get out of the way. The pitch on its way to Dawson Hall. Checks his swing and just fouls it off. Just kind of, I think, more of a defensive swing there just to try to make contact, and fouls it back. We'll have another 3-2 pitch coming. Tito Dennison will not be taking off with the pitch. Well, I shouldn't say he won't, but highly unlikely here. Pitch on its way, and Hall swings, hits this one right back up to Watkins, who scoops it up and throws him out at first. But Dennison able to move up 90 feet down to third, and now that brings up Tyson Ellis. Ellis with an RBI double in his first at-bat, a chance here now to add to that RBI total and try to knock in that run. The pitch on its way is fouled away by Dennison, and by Tyson Ellis. No balls and a strike. Ellis, one of the senior leaders on this team, has been out there for the Maple Mountain for the last couple of seasons. That one fouled straight back. I still remember, I think it was 2 years ago in the run to the state championship, Maple Mountain was playing up at Brent Brown Ballpark, and I believe Tyson Ellis was a sophomore. And I just remember thinking, okay, who's Maple Mountain going to throw, because they're kind of running out of pitchers. Well, they came out with Tyson Ellis, and then Ellis was able to find a way to kind of shut the door in that ball game. Pitched very well. That one's fouled straight back, and that will keep the count at 1-2. It's my first memory of Tyson Ellis on the pitching for the Golden Eagles. Last year, pitched in some big ball games. That one's fouled straight back, and the count will stay 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 4A state tournament will once again be held at Brent Brown Ballpark in Orem, and so really kind of the goal of everything right now would be to be in that tournament at the end of the year. You'd hope to have an opportunity to play there. That one high for ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Potentially for the next few years, the last chance to have both Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork in the 4A state tournament together, as the Golden Eagles, starting in the football in the fall, will go to 5A. That one's fouled back by Ellis, and we'll have another 1-2 pitch coming. Tito Dennison running at third base for the Golden Eagles. Jensen ready to go, kicks and delivers. That one swung out and missed, strike 30. And Tyson Dennison down on strikes. That is the first strikeout of the ball game for Jake Jensen. Maple Mountain strands 1 on the base pass. We've played 3. It's Maple Mountain 3, Pleasant Grove 0. You're watching high school baseball in Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbors State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Start of the top of the 4th inning here in St. George right now. Maple Mountain playing their first of 2 here this afternoon. They'll get ready to play the Payson Lions following this one here in their final pool play game, as 3 teams from Region 8 have made the trip down here to St. George for the same tournament. Kind of I would say almost everybody, it seems like, in northern Utah at some point in the last, month or so, last 3 weekends, have been somewhere down here in southern Utah. Maple Mountain coming down, I believe, twice. It's their second trip down. Blake Davis back to work. First pitch misses low, ball one. As Pula will stand in, the first baseman. Ready to go, and that one's going to be swung out and missed. And the count evens up at 1-1. Pula in the ballgame 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. That one's going to be grounded to short. Bobble, and this is going to have to be a close play. Throw to first, though, is in time to get Pula for the first out of the inning. Pula had one of those plays where he was able to, he just made this headlong dive to first base to try to make sure he could beat the throw, and he just didn't quite beat the throw. Here's Jackson Brown. Brown, 1 for 1, had a double back in the second inning off Tyson Ellis after a very long just kind of battle, and there he swings through the first pitch. It's 0-1. Blake Davis settling in quite nicely here for Maple Mountain. Here's the 0-1 pitch on its way, blocked in the dirt. A good stop by Mikey Peterson behind the plate. Count evens up at 1-1. Davis ready to go. The pitch on its way, right in there for a called strike, and the count moves to 1-2 on Brown. 2-0 Maple Mountain, top of the fourth inning. And here's the 1-2 on its way. That one's going to be lifted into left field. Coming in, reaching up and making the catch is Colin Reed for the second out of the inning. Here's Ethan Coombs. Coombs is 0 for 1 with a ground out to second base in his lone at-bat. Blake Davis giving Maple Mountain some nice innings here. And the pitch on its way in there for a called strike. And it's quickly no balls and 1 strike here on Coombs. Coombs has thrown well. Davis has thrown well. Coombs grounds this one right to Dennison. Dennison makes the throw to first in time, and the side is retired. So a 1-2-3 inning. Blake Davis kind of setting it in cruise control for Maple Mountain right now. And we will head to the bottom of the fourth inning, 2-0 lead for Maple Mountain. Let's go ahead here and thank our sponsors here on Spanish Fork 17 for making this broadcast possible here today. We want to thank the Car Guys, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm, Dickerson Automotive, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Miguel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, and our great sponsors here. We also want to remind you to follow our social media pages on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for our latest and up-to-date information on live broadcasts, and also to follow our SF17 staff. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. As we head to the bottom of the fourth inning right now, Maple Mountain looking to have an opportunity to try to see if they can add to their lead here. And some of the lineup changes that we had earlier are going to start to get ready to take effect here. As Mikey Peterson, Caleb Peterson, and Colin Reed were scheduled to hit. However, I believe it's going to end up being Tyler Boyack is going to come in, I believe, and hit in the spot that was vacated by Caleb Peterson, the first baseman. So Mikey Peterson, followed by, I believe, Tyler Boyack, and then Colin Reed. 5, 6, and 7 coming up here for Maple Mountain. So we'll make a couple of those changes here really quick here. Tyler Boyack will So Mikey Peterson is 0 for 1, but had a sacrifice fly, which at the time was key in getting that run home. And right there, Mikey Peterson will find a way to reach first base here, and he'll be retired for the first out of the inning. So here's Tyler Boyack, number 11. Boyack hitting in the spot of Caleb Peterson. His first at bat of the day. Came in this, and it looks like in the third inning is what I wrote down at the time. He shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes a called strike. Pickoff move, and that's going to get by Peyton Pond, who is running on the base pass. He's going to get to second with ease on the throwing error by the pitcher Jensen. He just kind of threw that one into the ground as it's Peyton Pond running on the base pass here, running for Mikey Peterson. Ready to go. Here's Tyler Boyack now. He'll not bunting. This time looks like he's going to now swing the bat. Jensen having a hard time finding the strike zone here to start the bottom of the fourth inning. Maple Mountain with a 2-0 lead, looking to see if they can find a way to possibly extend that here. There's the pickoff move. Back standing is Peyton Pond. Boyack ready to go. The pitch on its way, and Boyack pulls it back, going for third. Pond is safe in there underneath the tag. So again, you see the base running for Maple Mountain really paying off, as it was Peyton Pond at third base, able to find his way underneath the tag just in the nick of time, however. And now a 2-1 count here on Boyack. Still nobody out here in the inning. So Tyler Boyack a chance to bring home the run in a number of different ways here for Maple Mountain. Jensen comes home. That one's in there, and that one will even the count up now at 2-2 here on Maple Mountain. 2-2 as it's 2-0 here in the fourth. Ready to go. Here's the pitch, blocked in the dirt. Boyack quickly putting a hand up to let his runner know at third base, do not try to score. Do not try to come home. The ball didn't get far enough away. Pitch on its way. Boyack hits that one past the third baseman, who missed. I don't know if he misplayed it, did Lewis. Nonetheless, a base hit for Tyler Boyack and an RBI as Peyton Pond comes in to score. It's 3-0 Maple Mountain. So a nice job by Tyler Boyack. Some good speed on the base pass still for Maple Mountain. And here's Colin Reed. Reed 0 for 1, popped out to the first baseman. Had a pretty good at-bat for the Golden Eagles. Just couldn't quite reach there on the pop-out. Pitch on its way, they pull it back, ball in the dirt, but a good block there by Jackson Brown to keep it in front of him. One ball and no strikes to count. 3-0 right now in favor of Maple Mountain. Bunt shows, they pulled it back, takes it for a called strike. They haven't put the other run yet up on the scoreboard, by the way. Just give everybody an idea at home. It is 3-0. Still nobody out here in bottom of the fourth inning. Pitch on its way, and that one misses for a ball. So Colin Reed having a pretty good at bat right now. It's 2-1 count. Jensen working here from the stretch. Bunt pulls it back, takes it for a called strike. It'll be 2 balls and 2 strikes, nobody out here, bottom of the fourth inning. Tyler Boyack, the runner for Maple Mountain, over at first base. Jensen working from the stretch and comes home. That one's going to be popped up into right field. Coming over is Hooley. A long run. He dives. And looks like the ball, looks like he didn't quite come up with it. It'll be a foul ball. We'll have another attempt here for Colin Reed. A long run for Hooley there. It's kind of gets to the spot where it's kind of out of my view. It was a long run for Hooley, and Hooley made a great attempt to try to come up with it, but just couldn't quite get there. Pitch on its way. That one's going to be swung out, popped up. This one should be playable. Coming in is Coombs. He'll make the catch in center. And that will be the second out of the inning here, or the first out of the inning recorded. So here's Carter Shaw. Shaw 0 for 1, flew out to center in his lone at bat. Working from the stretch, here's the pitch on its way. That one in there for a called strike, and it's quickly 0-1. Shaw flew out to center field. Justin Hartman on deck for Maple Mountain. 1 out, 1 run already in here in the bottom of the 4th inning. That ball is going to be hit well into right field. That one is going to find a way to sit for a base hit, and so Carter Shaw has himself a single. 3 singles for Maple Mountain here in the inning, and now Justin Hartman with a shot to try to see if he can maybe give Maple Mountain another run, and we're going to have, I believe, a visit out to the mound here. We may have a pitching change. We'll have to see. I don't see anybody down in the bullpen throwing, so it may just be a quick visit out to the mound, and yet we will have a pitching change. They will make the change here, and I'm looking to see the number on who they went to, and they're going to go to the bullpen and bring in going to be number 1, Gavin Smith, will come in relief of Jake Jensen. So Jensen pitched pretty well when you're going to look at his final totals. However, he right now outpitched by the Maple Mountain combination of Tyson Ellis and Blake Davis. So that combination right now for Maple Mountain pitching really well as head coach Gary Miner believes going to potentially go over and have a word. Nope, he's going to go pick up a baseball back behind home plate. So Gavin Smith's doing his warm-up tosses. Let's go ahead here and let's take a look at our upcoming schedule here from the tournament in St. George. So Maple Mountain will play Payson following this one. Supposed to be in about an hour or so, 4:30 first pitch. We'll have to see if we stay on time with that here or not. With that 5:30 first pitch. Maple Mountain, as long as they win 1, they will either be playing likely at 11 or 1:15. So if this one holds up, and depending on what happens with the game of Payson, if they win both of those, they won't play tomorrow until 1:15. They'll play a 1:15 game, and then if they win those games, if both say Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain won their semifinals, then they'd meet each other at 8 o'clock for the tournament championship. Should make it for a late game here in St. George. However, there's a couple of things where we're not sure of. There's a 3:30 and a 5:45 game where teams that played in the morning would come back and play later on in the afternoon. We're not sure who those opponents would be. Just kind of taking a look and a wild guess on my part, I would say probably the losers of those semifinal games. And the first pitch low and in the dirt. The runner's going to take off, and they will advance 90 feet as that one blocked out in front of home plate, and alertly Tyler Boyack and Carter Shaw both move up 90 feet. So now a base hit by Hartman, and this one could be broken wide open as much as 5-0 Maple Mountain. Smith working here from the stretch comes in, and Hartman takes that one for a called strike, and it evens the count up now at 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 4th inning, a 2-0 lead for Maple Mountain. Pleasant Grove bringing the infield in. They're going to try to cut down on the run. That one's grounded to second. That will make the runner hold. They'll make the out there at first for the out number 2. Runners will have to hold, and now Jake Roberts will come to the plate. Roberts 0 for 2 this afternoon, has grounded out to short and then flew out to right. And an interesting note about every game tomorrow but the championship game, there's only a 2-hour time limit, so even in those semifinal games, it's just whatever inning you're in, when the 2-hour time limit comes up, that will be the final inning. That one there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. The championship game, however, that could go as long as needed to determine a winner. No balls and a strike here on Jake Roberts. Roberts now needing a base hit to try to get 2 in. Boyack at third, Shaw at second. The pitch fouled straight back to the screen, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Gavin Smith, the right-hander, in relief of Jake Jensen. Working here from the stretch, the right-hander. Smith kicks and comes in. That one blocked in the dirt out in front of home plate. The runners will have to stay at their current bases, as Jackson Brown did a nice job there keeping that one in front of him. And on the base paths, Maple Mountain's been able to take that extra 90 feet, not because of Jackson Brown not being able to keep the ball in front of him. It's just been Maple Mountain's been aggressive and has been going immediately on those balls in the dirt. Up one in the dirt, misses, ball 2. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. If the inning continues, it would be Tito Dennison who's on deck, who's 2 for 2. First base is open, so a Pleasant Grove walk here, outside of the fact that you're bringing up a hitter who's got 2 hits on the afternoon, doesn't kill you. That one misses, ball 3, and the count runs full now, 3-2 on Roberts. You would think that Jake Roberts here would get something good to hit with the fact that Dennison's 2 for 2. Dawson Hall would hit after Tito Dennison. Smith working here from the stretch, kicks and delivers. That one low, ball 4, and Jake Roberts draws a free pass, and now the bases are loaded for Tito Dennison, and there's no place to put him. And Dennison had a single with a run scored in the first and a single back in the 3rd inning. Lucky to try to see if Tito Dennison can open this ball game up, give Maple Mountain some run support. The pitch popped up. This one will go foul, up over above the dugout. Tyler Boyack running at third, Carter Shaw at second, and Jake Roberts over at first. The pitch on its way. That one's fouled over here towards the netting here. It's a stiff netting. What I mean by that, the ball, there's not a lot of give to it, so if it hits it, instead of coming back towards you and dying out, it just bounces right back onto the field of play. No balls and 2 strikes, they count on Dennison. Pitch on its way. Dennison grounds this one right back to the pitcher. He will win the foot race. Underhand toss to first, and Maple Mountain will strand the bases loaded. However, Maple Mountain gets 1 in here in the 4th inning. As we head to the 5th, it's a 3-0 lead for the Golden Eagles as they are playing Pleasant Grove here at the 2017 Landmark Insurance Invitational in St. George. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Top of the fifth inning here in St. George as the sun has come out, the clouds have gone away for the most part, and it's kind of feeling like we're in southern Utah this time of year as it's up in the upper 60s, potentially hitting 70, 71 here today. And we're playing baseball in March, which is always a fun time of the year as we play to the top of the fifth inning. Maple Mountain on top, 3-0 right now, as it's Stanley Hansen, the DH, to lead it off, and the first pitch misses for a ball, 1-0. Staley Hansen, Jake Fryer, and Connor Johnson, 8, 9, and 1 coming up here for Pleasant Grove in the fifth inning. The line of the delivery on its way in there for a called strike, and the count moves to 1-1. As you can see it right there, it's a great day for baseball. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The count here on Staley Hansen. Here's the 1-2 from Davis on the way. That one's going to be lifted pretty well out to left field. Hansen got a lot of it, but getting back there and making the catch in left for the first out of the inning is Colin Reed. So here's Jake Fryer. Fryer 0 for 1 as Fryer flew out to Dawson Hall in center field and his only at bat back in the third inning. Pleasant Grove hasn't had a lot of base runners here. That one's in there for a called strike, and I'm sure if you were to ask a lot of those Pleasant Grove Vikings, it was great to get all these hits and all these runs scored in the first game against Payson today. That one's grounded to third, fielded by Boyack. He'll throw across the diamond, a high throw, but they'll get the tag applied in time for the out. As Tyson Ellis quickly was able to jump and then apply the tag on the chest as the base runner came by. So now there's 2 gone. Here's Connor Johnson. Johnson struck out in the first, singled back in the third. Reed ready to go. That one swung out and missed. A nice pitch there from Blake Davis. Davis has done a really good job so far out of the pin here. That one's in there for a called strike. That one on the inside corner. And it's quickly 0-2 the count here on Connor Johnson. Johnson, the leadoff hitter for Pleasant Grove. And the pitch on its way, foul back to the screen. It's 1-2. The Vikings are done after this ball game. The only thing they can really do is sit and wait. And that's going to be the hard part about the rest of the day. Is really that's all you can do is sit and see what happens. That one's grounded to third. Boyack, the in-between hop, the throw across the diamond in time. At a 1-2-3 inning, the second straight time Blake Davis has put the Vikings down 1-2-3 here in the fifth. And we'll head to the bottom of the fifth inning. 3, 4, and 5, Dawson Hall, Tyson Ellis, and Mikey Peterson coming up here for the Golden Eagles. Let's take a moment, though, here on Spanish Fork 17 to thank our sponsors who help make these broadcasts each and every week possible on Spanish Fork 17. We want to thank the car guys, Mikael Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm, Two Jacks Pizza, and the car guys for making this one possible. As we've made the trip down here to St. George, Utah, where the sun is out and we are set and ready to play baseball once again. We We do want to remind you also to follow our pages on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to keep up with the latest shows, live broadcasts, and also our SF-17 staff. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. Bottom of the 5th inning, Maple Mountain trying to extend their lead to give them a little bit more of a cushion here with the Pleasant Grove Vikings, who, as we've seen already today here at the tournament, they've been able to find a way to get some offense going. Now the question comes down is, can they score that kind of runs against a pitching staff like Maple Mountain's? So Dawson Hall, Tyson Ellis, Mikey Peterson coming up, middle part of the lineup. Dawson Hall will make his way to the plate. Hall is 0 for 1 with a walk and came around to score a run back in the first inning. Maple Mountain, if you're just joining us, maroon tops, gray pants, the all-white uniforms worn by Pleasant Grove. They are the visiting team. I went in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning, a 3-0 lead for Maple Mountain. The Golden Eagles scoring 2 in the first on an RBI double from Tyson Ellis. And that one missing for a ball. And then it was a sacrifice fly from Mikey Peterson that brought home the second run to give Maple Mountain at the time a 2-0 lead. And then it was Tyler Boyack in the fourth who had an RBI single. Hall fouls that one away. I believe that one came up onto that second level kind of area there and hit off some of the rock, some of the bricks up there, and they bounced back onto the kind of the bullpen area. One ball and 2 strikes to count here on Dawson Hall. Pitch on its way. Smith leaves that one short, and it's going to be 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pleasant Grove was the home team again, or was the visiting team actually, against the Payson Lions earlier today as well. Ready to go, the wind and the delivery on its way in there, called strike 3. So Dawson Hall was frozen there on the pitch. That's going to be the first strikeout for Gavin Smith in relief. And with 1 gone, here's Tyson Ellis. Ellis 1 for 2, had an RBI double in the first and a strikeout in the third. That one bounces in the dirt to the backstop for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Maple Mountain and Payson coming up, scheduled for about a 4:30 first pitch. We'll try to keep you updated if something changes. That one swung out and missed. Tyson Ellis swings through it, and now it's quickly a 1-1 count here on Tyson Ellis. Ready to go. Here's the pitch on its way. Ellis takes that one low for a ball, and it's going to be 2-1 the count on Tyson Ellis. Mikey Peterson on deck for Maple Mountain. A nice breeze here at the ballpark today. That one's going to be lifted into deep right center field. Going back, still going back. It's off the base of the wall. It skips past the center fielder back towards the infield. Going around third, they're going to put the brakes on Tyson Ellis there as the ball misplayed off the outfield wall. And Tyson Ellis is on third with a 1-out triple. And now Mikey Peterson an opportunity to knock home Tyson Ellis. And he missed second base, and they appeal, and Tyson Ellis is out. So I'm not really sure how you would actually score that in a scorebook at home, but Ellis missed the second base, so when the ball comes back in, you can appeal, that you can throw to the base, touch the base, and then if he missed the base, he's out, and in that case, Tyson Ellis apparently missed second base, and that's the second out of the inning, so scratch the triple, and now that brings up Mikey Peterson. Peterson takes the first pitch, high ball 1 ball and no strikes. Peterson has himself a single, and then he was single, and then also a sacrifice fly. So a couple of productive at-bats for Maple Mountain. That one missing low for ball 2, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Probably looking at about 20, maybe 30 minutes in between ball games. Enough time to allow Payson to warm up. That one in there for a called strike. By the time Payson gets back on the field, it's going to be close to about 2.5, 3 hours from the time they last played. Peterson lines this one into right center field. That's going to roll all the way to the warning track, and quickly getting there to cut it off is the right fielder Hooley, who will make the throw in. So Mikey Peterson's aboard with his second hit, and now that brings up Tyler Boyack. So now Tyson Ellis missing second base. If you're Maple Mountain, that really kind of hurts, because now that's a run that you would have had on the scoreboard that was taken off. So here's Tyler Boyack, 1 for 1, with a RBI single in the fourth. Ready to go. First pitch to Boyack. Fastball in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Bottom of the fifth inning right now, 3-0 lead for Maple Mountain. Golden Eagles trying to punch a ticket to the semifinals tomorrow. That one low and in the dirt, a good stop. By Jackson Brown behind the plate. Bottom of the fifth inning right now. Maple Mountain trying to get a runner or two of insurance here. Runner goes, ball's in the dirt, and easily stealing the bag there is going to be, I believe that was Peyton Pond, who is out courtesy running. Number 10 out at second base, and it is. So Pond courtesy running, or speed up running, whatever you want to call it, steals the bag easily. And now Tyler Boyack, an opportunity with a runner in scoring position. A base hit here probably scores Peyton Pond from second base. Pond getting a pretty generous lead, and Gavin Smith will step off the mound here. I mean generous. I mean, he's getting probably 6-7 steps off the bag. Nobody really playing overly close. The second baseman will now play a little more closer, but Boyack swings and pops this one up down the line over towards first base, and Pula will be there to make the catch, and the inning is over. So Maple Mountain had a good opportunity here to potentially score, however, not able to get the run across on the base running error. We head to the sixth after the break. Maple Mountain 3, Pleasant Grove 0. You're watching high school baseball on Spanish Fork 17.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Top of the sixth inning right now as Blake Davis heads back to work for Maple Mountain. Ty Lewis will stand in to lead it off. 2, 3, and 4 coming up here in the sixth for Pleasant Grove, who need to try to find some kind of offensive momentum, and the first pitch is in there for a called strike. Lewis is 1 for 2, is grounded out to first and also singled back in the fourth inning. Blake Davis settled in pretty good for Maple Mountain. Lewis grounds this one to short, fielded by Roberts. He'll throw across. His throw's in time, and there's one away. 9 straight hitters retired right now by Blake Davis. The last person to reach was Ty Lewis, that single he had off Davis back in the third inning. Here's Brock Watkins now. Watkins had 1 for 2, a strikeout, and also a single that he got back in the first. And he swings first pitch and lifts one deep into the outfield, coming over and getting there, making the catch is Carter Shaw, and there's 2 outs. I think one thing that's been impressive, Blake Davis has found a way to really kind of pitch to contact in a sense. And he's gotten these hitters from Pleasant Grove to hit the baseball right at people to get the outs, which has been pretty impressive to watch. Here's Logan Hooley. Hooley struck out and then popped out to third. And first pitch in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1 on Hooley. Blake Davis, the right-hander, ready to go. The 0-1 pitch on its way. And Hooley hits this one to right, coming over and making the catch. Running it down is Carter Shaw. And that now makes the last hit back in the third inning. So right now Maple Mountain has done a tremendous job. Blake Davis retiring now 11 straight hitters for Maple Mountain. We head to the bottom of the sixth inning. Colin Reed, Carter Shaw, Justin Hartman coming up for Maple Mountain here as we will play bottom of the sixth inning baseball. Here, let's take a moment on Spanish Fork 17 and thank our sponsors for making this one possible. Our Lance Wilson State Farm, Two Jacks Pizza, Mikkel Christiansen and Wise Attorneys at Law, Dickerson Automotive, The Car Guys, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and MVP Sports. We thank them for making this broadcast possible. We also invite you to follow our pages on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest and up-to-date information on shows, live broadcasts, and our SF17 staff. Just look for Spanish Fork 17. So bottom of the sixth inning, Maple Mountain would like to add maybe a run or two of support right now, but in a pretty good position right now. Blake Davis has put it on cruise control right now as he will likely start the seventh inning, which will be his fifth inning of work. And so here is Colin Reed, and that's not going to be Colin Reed. It's going to be number 23. That is Caden Beal to pinch hit for Colin Reed. So Beal stands in, ready to go here. Gavin Smith still on the mound here for PG. And the wind and the delivery on its way. Fastball misses, high ball one ball and no strikes. That afternoon breeze, the sun's starting to kind of rotate around. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one in there at the knees, called strike. The count evens up here at 1 ball and 1 strike. We're back at it tomorrow here on Spanish Fork 17. Right now at what would be 11 a.m. with the Spanish Fork Dons in their semifinal. Pitch on its way. That one didn't even quite get anywhere near home plate. It hit almost just on the other side of the grass cutout as you go to home plate and skipped up over the glove to the backstop. Spanish Fork will have the number 2 team out of this pool. And right now, it looks like it's a good chance, depending on what happens later tonight, it could end up being Pleasant Grove. If Maple Mountain takes care of business against Payson, it would be likely Pleasant Grove. That one inside and taken for a ball. As the count moves right now to 3-1. The 3-1 pitch on its way to Beal misses low, ball 4. So Caden Beal finds a way aboard here on the free pass. And now it's going to bring up number 25, Carter Shaw. And I think now we're going to have a speed-up runner for Maple Mountain. And number 12, Colin Reed, will come in to run. So Reed will run over at first base. Carter Shaw will step to the plate. Shaw's 1 for 2 in the ball game, with a fly out to center field and a single back in the 4th inning. The right-hander will get ready to go to work here. Blake Davis trying to make sure in the top of the 7th inning he's got all the run support that he needs in order to kind of close this one down and get Maple Mountain to 1-0 in their pool. And this is one of those games, looking at the schedule, that you kind of thought, you knew kind of Payson in the back of your mind that you'd have a pretty good shot at beating them. That one in there for a called strike, 0-1. But then Pleasant Grove was a game that you kind of looked at with how well Darren Henry has built this program at Pleasant Grove. It's a 4A versus 5A situation here between Maple Mountain and Pleasant Grove. And it's just one of those games where you kind of look at it and you kind of go, hey, it's going to be a test. And I think it's going to show Gary Miner a lot of what he has in his guys to come in here with this team and beat a team like Pleasant Grove if they can hold on. And that one's going to be in there, but the ball is lost. It's a called strike, but Brown loses it on the transfer, so taking second base is Colin Reed on the stolen base, and now Carter Shaw is the runner in scoring position here with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th inning. And we'll see now, with 2 strikes, generally the bunt sign isn't on, because if you foul it away, it's a called third strike. Or you bunt a third strike foul and you're out. Ready to go, and Smith looks the runner back to second. I think he might have thrown it, but Watkins and Johnson, either one, weren't at the bag. Working here from the stretch, the right-hander Gavin Smith. Takes a long look in behind home plate to Jackson Brown. The pickoff move, this time he does throw it, but Colin Reed is back standing as Connor Johnson applied the tag. On deck, it would be the number 9 hole hitter, Justin Hartman. Pitch on its way. It's going to be hit on the infield right to second. That's going to move the runner to third. So on the surface of things, a lot of people may view that as an out. However, that's the equivalent right there of laying down a sacrifice bunt. That moves the runner over 90 feet. And now it puts Justin Hartman in a situation where he doesn't necessarily need to get a hit to get that run home. However, Pleasant Grove will bring the infield in. So the Vikings want to make sure here that this only stays a 3-run contest heading to the top half of the 7th inning. Working here from the stretch, the pitch on its way, and that ball's going to be lifted well to center field. That is going to get the run home as a base hit there for Justin Hartman, and it's 4-0 Maple Mountain. An RBI single for Hartman brings home Colin Reed, and that's just the insurance run right now that Maple Mountain was looking for. Just a hard hit single back through the box that gets the run home. And here comes Jake Roberts. Roberts 0 for 2 with a walk. Back in that leadoff spot. And not really what you wanted if you're Pleasant Grove, because now you have to deal with the top of the lineup. Pitch on its way, runner goes. The throw down to second, in on a hop. It's going to get into center field. Quickly getting up and going down to third is Hartman. The throw's not in time. And Maple Mountain using some speed of their own. We saw Spanish Fork do that earlier. And right there on the throwing air, the ball gets into center field, and Justin Hartman quickly just gets up and books it for third base. And now Maple Mountain again in the situation where they can get that run home. They don't necessarily need a hit from Jake Roberts here. Pleasant Grove forced to bring the infield in. The pitch on its way, inside tight, and the helmet comes off of Jake Roberts, and he quickly... And right now, they're all trying to say hit him in the helmet. Gary Miner will come out because the home plate umpire not awarding first base, but the helmet clearly came flying off, and I guess the home plate umpire saw it differently, and they're going to say hit him in the helmet, and he'll be awarded first base on the hit by pitch. It came high and tight, and we saw Jake Roberts turn out of the way, and so I think the only thing I could think of initially was the home plate umpire thought that the quick turn of the head threw the helmet off, but in this case the ball came up and hit the helmet. And now runners on the corners, and we'll see if Maple Mountain puts the game in motion here with runners on first and third and potentially sends Jake Roberts here. A 2 for 3, Tito Denniston at the plate. And now Darren Henry might have had the same thought that I had and will give some instructions out to his infield. Might have had the same thought that I had, that maybe they might try to steal some bases here. Ready to go from the stretch. The pitch on its way in their call. First strike. It's quickly 0-1 here on Tito Dennison. Dennison a single in the first and a single in the third. And then grounded out to the pitcher with the bases loaded in the fourth inning. Dennison would love to, I guess, redeem himself from that one earlier. The pickoff move and scrambling back to the bag is Jake Roberts. Pula did a good job at first to keep that in front of him. The seventh inning for Pleasant Grove will have Pula, Jackson Brown, and then Ethan Coombs coming up, looking to try to win their last chance here against Blake Davis. Bunt shown, they pull it back. Taken for a ball, and the count evens up here at 1-1 strike. Jackson Brown will go out and have a quick word with his pitcher on the mound. The right-handed pitcher on the mound. Smith on its way home. Bunt showed, fouled straight back to the screen, and it will be 1-2 the count. That was the concern there with the bunt play on, whether, how it would go and where it would go. 1-2 the count on Dennison. Dennison looking to try to see here right now. Runners on the corners. Over at third, it's Justin Hartman. Jake Roberts at first. Gavin Smith ready to come here with the 1-2. Roberts goes out in the dirt, and Jake Roberts will steal it uncontested. Will take second base. No even throw down from Jackson Brown. Probably didn't want to take any chance of the throw being offline. So now first base is open with a 2-2 count. And the pitch on its way. That one's lifted. It's going to be... The out's going to be, it looks like, recorded at first base. But the runners were not able to tag. So now there's two gone in the inning. And here's Dawson Hall. Hall walked in the first, grounded out to short, and struck out looking. Now, would have given them an opportunity to potentially tag up, but they weren't able to get going in a quick enough manner. Time called, as now we'll see Gavin Smith step off the mound. Dawson Hall at the plate in this one, 0 for 2 with a walk. Swings first pitch, grounds it to second. Bobbled by the second baseman, and he bobbles it twice, and the run will score. Everybody's safe. So the E4 will get the run home, and Dawson Hall reaches, and it's 5-0 Maple Mountain. Maybe not the most beautiful way to score a run, but you'll take it if you're the Golden Eagles. And now it brings up Tyson Ellis. Ellis had a double, struck out, and then in his last at bat had what would have been a triple, but he missed second base, and they appealed it, and he was called out. Runners on the corners. We'll see if Dennison goes at some point, and that one misses for a ball. It's 1-0. You have to kind of think there's that potential that you're going to see. You're going to see Dennison at some point take off here, and that one misses for a ball, and it moves to 2-0. If the inning continues past Tyson Ellis, it'd be Mikey Peterson. Ready to go. The pitch on its way. Blocked in the dirt. That's to the backstop. Digging for a home and scoring on the play is Jake Roberts. And Maple Mountain taking advantage right now of some of the miscues by Pleasant Grove. Another run scores, and Tyson Ellis is now in scoring position. Dawson Hall now in scoring position. We're going to have a visit out to the mound here. We may see a kind of another last-second, don't want to say pitching change necessarily, but we may see another change, and we will. Gavin Smith's coming out, and we'll see who they're going to go to. It's going to be number 17. Coleman Fisher will come in and be the new arm here. As right now, Pleasant Grove trying to find a way to just get out of the 6th inning. We've seen this with a couple of other teams throughout the tournament where they just haven't been able to get out of innings. And it's come back to hurt them a couple of times throughout the tournament. Right now, that's key when you get the 2 outs. You don't want those runs. Spanish Fork really benefited last night from that against Desert Hills when the Thunder just never were able to work themselves out of the inning. And whenever that happened, it seemed like it provided a chance for some runs to score. The interesting thing here, this change is made with a 3-0 count here on right now on Tyson Ellis. Dawson Hall is now on at second base, and Tyson Ellis will be the hitter right here with 2 outs in the inning. Maple Mountain 3 outs away in the top of the 7th inning from moving to 1-0 in pool play. And if they could find a way to beat Payson in the second half of this doubleheader today, they would be 2-0 and they would clinch the number 1 spot out of Pool B. And that would be a 1 o'clock semifinal tomorrow. And the nice thing about, the 1:15 semifinal, the nice thing about that is you would avoid having to see Spanish Fork until the championship game. So Fisher takes over on the mound, and they're just going to put on Tyson Ellis here. So they give the intentional pass to Tyson Ellis, and now let's bring the 8th man to the plate here in the inning, Mikey Peterson. Peterson has 2 hits on the day, 2 singles, and then also a sacrifice fly in his most recent at-bat. The stands are filled right now with maroon and blue. I'm sure that will change here after the ball game to maroon and green. Pitch on its way, fastball to Mikey Peterson, misses high, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. As Payson's been hitting in the cages, they are down just on the third base dugout area. Here's the 1-0 pitch, blocked in the dirt. The catcher couldn't find it. The runners will hold up, though, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. It seems like the most simplest task to make sure that you can't, or that you know where the ball's at, but sometimes it's hard when you're the catcher and you're having to try to find it quick. You get caught up in trying to find it too quick where you don't really think to check the right spots. The 2-0 pitch is going to be right there for a called strike, and it's 2-1 to Mikey Peterson. If Peterson reaches, Tyler Boyack would be next. He's in the on-deck circle. Two balls and 1 strike to count, ready to go. From the stretch, Fisher takes a look at second, comes home, breaking ball in there, called strike 2, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now on Mikey Peterson. Runners on at first and second, 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The pitch on its way home. That one's going to be hit right to second. It's fielded cleanly, the throw in time to first, and the 6th inning comes to an end. The last chance for the Pleasant Grove Vikings, but now they have a little bit more work to do. Maple Mountain leads 6-0. We head to the 7th after the break here on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Top of the 7th inning here right now in St. George. Maple Mountain looking to try to finish this one off. It will be Blake Davis who will try and finish it off here for Maple Mountain. And boy, Blake Davis has done a great job out of the bullpen for Maple Mountain today. It really has given Coach Gary Miner and that Maple Mountain team some very nice innings to get. He came in and has so far gone the distance, and now he'll look to try to finish this one off here, get to Maple Mountain to be 1-0 in Pool B. And if they can beat Payson, they're heading tomorrow to a semifinal. So here's Pula to lead it off. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts. It's Pula, Brown, and Coombs, 5, 6, and 7 for Pleasant Grove. Keani Pula, the first baseman, stands in. The first pitch misses low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Pula has been able to has played well at first base here. That one in there for a called strike and evens the count up here at 1-1. He had a really good first game against Payson with a couple of hits. Blake Davis ready to go. The 1-1 pitch misses high, ball 2, and it's 2 balls and a strike on Pula. Pitch, that one inside, ball 3, or misses in the dirt low. It's 3 balls and a strike here on Pula. Jackson Brown on deck, the catcher, and then Ethan Coombs to follow. Ready to go. Here's the pitch on its way. It's popped up. That one will go down the line. Long run, and then it will go foul as Carter Shaw was giving it a good look, but, well, it went foul. Those 3 runs in the 6th were huge for Maple Mountain. There's a ground ball right back up the middle. Fielded by Roberts. His throw to first in time, and Maple Mountain is now 2 outs away from finishing this one off. Here's Jackson Brown. Brown 1 for 2. He had a double back in the 2nd, a fly out to left field in the 4th. Going to work right here. Blake Davis, the right-hander, kicks and delivers. That one on the inside corner and just misses for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. We got Maple Mountain and Payson coming up next here on Spanish Fork 17. That one's supposed to begin roughly around 20 minutes or so. And that one gets in there for a strike, 1-1. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark and say that one's gonna start a few minutes past when they expect. Pitch on its way in there at the knees for a called strike, and evens the count up, makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ready to go. Here's the 1-2 pitch about to come to Jackson Brown. Davis inside, and that one hit him. You can hear it from here. And that one just came in a little too tight. That's really the only time that Blake Davis has missed too far in. He hasn't walked any hitters tonight. That's really the first addition of a free pass, I guess you could say, that he's given up. And you're going to have a runner over at first base. That's Hayden. That's Casper coming back in to run. Ethan Casper, and that first pitch in there for a called strike to Coombs. Coombs 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts to Tito Dennison at second base. No balls and a strike to count, working here from the stretch. The delivery on its way in. That one's going to be grounded to Dennison. He's going to go to short for 1, but the throw goes into shallow left field. The runners will not be able to move up, though. They will stay there, and now a couple of runners on for Pleasant Grove. And it's going to bring up Staley Hansen, the designated hitter. The designated hitter struck out and flew out to left in his only 2 at-bats of the afternoon. Davis looking for a similar ground ball to try to turn 2. There's a breaking ball that misses the inside corner of the strike zone. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Runners on at first and second, ready to go. Here's the pitch. Inside corner, called strike, and it evens the count up at 1-1. Davis ready to go from the stretch, takes a look at second. The delivery inside corner just missed inside, ball 2. 2-1 the count. Double play depth up the middle with Roberts and Dennison. Pitch on its way as Hansen tried to hold up but couldn't, and the count goes to 2-2. Going to work here, ready to go. The right-hander Reed, or the right-hander Blake Davis here. Time call by Hansen, who will step out of the batter's box. Pleasant Grove trying a last-ditch effort here in the 7th inning. 2 runners on, there's 1 away here in the top of the 7th. Hansen fouls that one away. We'll do this one again. Maple Mountain and Payson coming up next here on Spanish Fork 17. We'll have a break in between ball games while they get the field all ready to go. And then we'll do this one again. And it will be a very preview of a Region 8 regular season series there as Hansen able to hold up and the count goes full 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out here in the 7th inning. Davis from the stretch takes a look at second, comes home. That one misses low, ball 4, and the bases are full of Vikings. Jake Fryer is going to be the hitter, and we'll see. We'll have a visit out to the mound here for Maple Mountain. I believe that's going to be the pitching coach going out to have a quick word. We're going to have a runner over at first base here. Number 21 for Pleasant Grove. Cooper Caldwell will come in to run over at first base for the Vikings. The conversation is over on the mound. And really, if you're Blake Davis, you're a ground ball away from getting out of this. Even at this point, if you're Maple Mountain, you'll trade an out for a run. I mean, you have 6 of them, and you only need 2 outs. Here's an 0-for-2 Jake Fryer. Fryer has flown out to center and grounded to third. Davis ready to go. First pitch in there, called strike just below the belt, and it's 0-1. This is probably Pleasant Grove's most dangerous threat of the ball game. Davis ready to go from the stretch. The 0-1 in there at the knees, called strike 2, and it's quickly 0-2 on Fryer. Connor Johnson awaits on deck for the Vikings. Pitch on its way, in there, called strike 3. Fryer down looking. Blake Davis with the second strikeout of the night for Davis, and now with 2 down, it all comes down to Connor Johnson. Johnson has struck out, singled, and grounded out. The ground out came in his most recent at-bat back in the 5th inning. working here from the stretch. Will first pitch on its way in there for a called strike, and it's quickly 0-1. Pleasant Grove still with a very good chance with that win over Payson to play in the semifinals tomorrow, and they'll have a good shot at getting a very good Spanish 14. The 0-1 pitch on its way, and that one's going to be into right field for a base hit. That one's down. One run is in. In behind Casper comes Coombs. He will score, and a 2-run single here as Hanson moves up, and a nice job by Connor Johnson. And here's Ty Lewis. Lewis, a ground out, a single, and another ground out. In his most recent at-bat, a ground out to Jake Roberts. 2 runs across here for Pleasant Grove. 6-2 lead right now for Maple Mountain. And the pitch, Lewis hits this one high and deep but foul, and it's 0-1. Blake Davis now, I believe, in his third time through the lineup. Checks the swing there, does Lewis. He did not go. Runners hold, they'll appeal, and no, this says the base umpire. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Coming up, following this one, it's Payson and Maple Mountain. And then down here at Desert Hills High School tonight, Juan Diego and Desert Hills. There's one's popped out right to the first baseman, and the ball game is over. Maple Mountain has come out victorious over Pleasant Grove 6-2, making Maple Mountain now 1-0 in Pool B, and now they control their own destiny. A win over Payson, and they're in semifinal number 2 tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Or I believe it's the 1:15 or 1:30 semifinal. A loss tonight to Payson, and boy, we're going to have a very interesting situation, a 3-way tie of teams that are 1-1. We'll take a break here on Spanish Fork 17. When we come back, we'll have our MVP Sports MVP of the game, and we'll wrap this one up. Game 1 of 2, Maple Mountain wins over Pleasant Grove.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork.
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Well, Maple Mountain in game 1 of 2 this afternoon, they come out victorious, a 6-2 final over Pleasant Grove, making Maple Mountain 1-0 here in Pool B. The Golden Eagles an opportunity to clinch their spot as the winners of Pool B with a win over Region 8 rival Payson coming up. The Golden Eagles got everything started bright and early in the bottom of the first inning. They scored 2 quick ones. Tito Dennison had the single, Dawson Hall with a walk, and then Tyson Ellis an RBI double that brought home the first run. Mikey Peterson then had a sacrifice fly to give Maple Mountain a 2-0 lead. They would score one in the fourth inning. Mikey Peterson started it off with a single. Peyton Pond would come in to run, and on a pickoff move to first, the ball gets past Pula at first base, and then Pond goes from first to third. And then we'd have an RBI single then by Tyler Boyack at the time to give Maple Mountain a 3-0 lead. 3 more runs in the 6th inning. Caden Beal drew a walk. Colin Reed came in to run, stole a base. And then an RBI single by Justin Hartman made it at the time 4-0 Maple Mountain. Hartman would come in to score later on in the inning. And then Jake Roberts, who was hit by a pitch, would then score to give Maple Mountain a 6-0 lead. Pleasant Grove would score 2 in the 7th as Jackson Brown was hit by a pitch. Ethan Coombs reached on a fielder's choice. Staley Hansen, the designated hitter, was walked. And then Connor Johnson, a 2-run single in the 7th inning. For all of our scoring, Maple Mountain comes out victorious. The Golden Eagles, however, started Tyson Ellis, and Ellis went 2 innings. And then they made a pitching change and brought in Blake Davis, and Blake Davis really kind of shut the door down on the Pleasant Grove Bats. Did a great job out of the bullpen. Today's MVP Sports MVP of the game goes to Blake Davis for that pitching performance that he had. Gave up the 2 runs in the 7th inning, but those came the 3rd time through the lineup, and you kind of started to see some trends and some things when you go 3rd time through. So Blake Davis, our MVP Sports MVP of the game. We're going to now say so long for now as they're getting the field ready to go for Game 2. It will be the Payson Lions and the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles coming up. My guess would be probably somewhere in the half-hour-ish range or so, but that would just be an estimate here. But we will just stay tuned here to Spanish Fork 17 for more continuing coverage of the high school baseball tournament down here in St. George. For our entire Spanish Fork Community Network team, I'm Ryan Pickens saying so long for now, and we'll see you when Payson and Maple Mountain play in the final game of pool play here from St. George, Utah. We'll see you in a little bit, everybody.